Okay, so you know it's going to be a good video when you can barely see me from above the box. Now, odds are you probably never heard of the company Zettlab before, or the NASs that they make. So this right here is the D6. I will give you 3 guesses to try and figure out why it's called a D6. They are fully toolless, you just take them out like that, and it is extremely satisfying to do it. It's like playing with a mini keyboard, and you also have a couple of other things here at the front. You have 2 SD card slots here, one SD 3.0, one SD 3.0. You also have a micro SD card slot right here, a USB Type-C, that's just Gen 3, and a Type A Gen 3 port, as well as this copy button. What exactly does that do? Well, basically it allows you to copy whatever it is that's on the external storage directly to the NAS with just one click of a button. You also, of course, get this little screen right here, which I gotta peel off, and okay, that was the least satisfying peel ever because it just broke off. This is going to be pretty difficult to get off now. Anyway, now let's move on to the rear I/O, where you have a few extra things, including 2 Ethernet jacks, one 1 gigabit, one 2.5 gigabit. And if you want anything faster, you're gonna have to go for Ultra, which comes with up to 10 gigabit. 2 USB Type A 2.0 ports, some very vague 4K HDMI, whatever that means, as well as your power, a tiny little reset button that requires some kind of needle or something similar to actually trigger, as well as a rear power button. I kind of wish that a power button was at the front, so it's a lot easier to access, but I guess if they're expecting you to use this thing on 24/7, then it's not as much of an issue. And then of course you have this, which came in a little envelope, which just snaps on like that as a nice little dust cover. Now let's go over whatever is in this mysterious box, which I assume to be accessories, but you never know. You can never trust what it says on the box. However, no, it turns out it's just accessories, and pretty bare bones ones at that, with just a power cable, a single rather short RJ45 Ethernet cable, and also just the power brick. Given the size already, I wish they just integrated a power supply inside rather than having this just be hidden somewhere behind your desk, but whatever, it's one of those things I can live with. Now, they have also sent over 4 of these 2 terabyte drives right here to ensure that we can actually get this thing going. I will literally never get bored of holding so many hard drives at once. I don't know why, it's just something very satisfying. Just like I will never get bored of opening these drive sleds up, because they're also very, very satisfying. So what we have to do is just press down here, pull this away, then insert the drive as far as it will go to the back, and then click it back in. And now it's ready to be installed just like that. Now we get to do this 3 more times. Who says we don't have fun on this channel? Now, unfortunately, with just 4 2 terabyte drives, we are barely scratching the surface of what this thing can do, given how even just this D6 non-Ultra unit can support up to 148 terabytes, while the most high-end one, the 8-bay D8 Ultra, can go all the way up to 200 terabytes if you need that much. However, that's not the end of the storage options, because if we just remove the 4 screws right here, and it's kind of very difficult to use a ratcheting screwdriver at this angle, so that's why I'm not even bothering, and just doing it like this, you'll see that we have our M.2 storage hidden under there. And there it is. Now there is only just 1 slot here, and it doesn't normally come with one pre-installed. This is just something special they did for me because they just love me so much. Unlike the Ugreen unit we recently covered, here you cannot upgrade a RAM. So that is a bit of a problem if the 16 gigabytes of LPDDR4X that comes by default is not gonna be enough on these D4 and D6 units. Now, all that is left to do is actually connect everything up, connect the power, connect the internet, and we can start using this thing. Okay, and just like that, we are in. This is a very macOS-like interface with this floating taskbar at the bottom, or whatever pretentious name they have for that on macOS. I honestly can't even remember. So I wanna actually set everything up. So create now. Now we have 4 drives, as you know, as well as an M.2. So the real test here now is seeing how easy it is to set everything up. The disks themselves are showing up as unsupported for some reason. That is interesting. Okay, so it has been over a month since that last clip, but can you blame me? CES happened. And we also got some brand new drives to actually put into the NAS. As you've probably seen from those error messages we were getting, the issue is that, unfortunately, by complete accident, the drives they sent over were shingled magnetic drives, which naturally come with a bit of a performance penalty. And because of it, they made it that these drives will not work with the NASs in order to ensure that you get the proper experience and that your drives don't slow anything down. They do have a full list of supported models, so make sure to check it out so you avoid any headaches. But after that, they did send over some working ones, and it was absolutely no problem to set this thing up in RAID 5. And given how it is a 6-bay model, we can also very easily then add additional drives in the future without any issues and expand the pool, so that will be great. And of course, there are no issues when it comes to adding in the read cache as well with the included SSD. And while we were at CES, they also showcased a bit of what it is capable of and why exactly it's being even dubbed an AI NAS. Basically, once it has learned a file, and you can see if it has or not by the status appearing underneath every single file, it can then bring it up in search results even if you're not searching specifically for the file name. So as they've shown, you can just search for something relating to wind power and it will bring up a bunch of windmills. But it won't just search for what's present in an image, it can also search for what's present in a video. It can not only detect what's being said, but it can also then direct you to that segment of a video and show you the whole transcript. So if you work a lot in photo and video work, like say, hey, myself, and you're trying to find some clip of someone doing or saying something, then this could be a very large help in that. And given how the starting prices are actually pretty reasonable as well for the NAS, currently costing you $430 for the 4-bay version or just $70 more for the 6-bay one, I mean, you'd be pretty much just paying that much for the 16 gigs of RAM included if you were to buy it standalone, so there's that. And if I do say so myself, it also looks pretty great, especially the RGB is a unnecessary but nice touch. And in fact, I do actually like the way it looks more than the Ugreen NAS we covered a while back, but that's just personal opinion. Now, obviously, there's a huge battle going on right now, and there are other similar devices coming soon. Ugreen have their own one coming later this year, so definitely subscribe to his channel so you don't miss our coverage of that. And in the meantime, maybe check out our Patreon, because even a single $1 a month truly goes a long way. Plus, huge thanks to Gavin Burns, Justin Rage, Ella Vronyak, Balash Voka, Lola Pseudonym, Meg Sumner, Shane Allcroft, and Mason Magruder. But anyway, that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then remember to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.